Ah, yes. Now I see how it works. Well, welcome back and very good Thursday to you. We remain at 888-630-9625. Democrats like James Carville. Kamala Harris was on the loose yesterday. Was she one of the kids that Obama put in cages along our border? How many illegal aliens did Barack Obama deport? Oh, 5 million? 5 million? Sure. How about Bill Clinton? 12 million? 12 million illegal aliens? Why are the Democrats upset when you deport 130,000 gang members? Oh, it's because they want to date them. Well. Welcome back once again. Kamala Harris she gave a speech of some kind in San Francisco last night, and you could go and witness in person Kamala's speech. Genius that it was. For $50,000, you could pay $50,000 to go to a Kamala Harris speech, and presumably people did it. The rank-and-file rabble, the cannon fodder in the audience, they had to pay the low price of $250. And to watch it streaming online, you had to pay $25 to watch a Kamala Harris speech. So I'm going to save you a few bucks here today because you didn't have to fly to San Francisco, make your way through the morass of dead bodies and human waste on the sidewalks and the streets of San Francisco, not the city that it once was, to be sure. Isn't that amazing? But a couple of sound bites that I want to share with you before getting to Hank Johnson, who said, first they came for the illegal alien gang members outside of Home Depots. But I did not speak because I was not an illegal alien gang member outside of Home Depot. He thinks it's the Holocaust. I don't think he can spell the word Holocaust, but he's a Democrat member of Congress, so don't worry about him. And, you know, let's go to soundbite number 11, because before we get to Kamala, this is the first speech that she's given since she lost the presidential election in dazzling fashion, notwithstanding the news media corruptly promoting her and propping her up. And Tim Walz, don't forget Tim Walz, is a great one. But I think we've all missed Kamala Harris being out here on the political scene.
It is time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day.
What?
Every day it is time for us to agree.
Talking about the significance
every time
of the
it's time to agree.
Time, right?
Passage of time.
Significance of the passage of time.
The passage.
So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time.
Passage of time.
I am here, standing here on the northern flank,
right
on
there.
the eastern flank, talking about
northern.
What we have in terms of the eastern flank and our NATO allies.
Northern?
What? Is a country in Europe. It exists next to another country called Russia. Russia is a bigger country.
Bigger.
Russia is a powerful country.
Ukraine.
Russia decided to invade a smaller country called Ukraine.
Smaller. It sounded like Somalia, didn't it? But it was a smaller country. And she is a genius. The Democrats and the media, but I repeat myself, said she's going to make an excellent president of the United States and leader of the free world, provided your goal is the apocalypse. Remarkable stuff. She came out of the closet yesterday, kind of like Michelle Obama. Did you see Michelle Obama? She kind of came out of the closet too, didn't she? Yeah, she's out a little bit. We didn't completely play that yesterday because Michelle Obama, she was doing a podcast, and Joan Rivers, the late great Joan Rivers, comedian, famously said that when asked, do you think we'll ever have a gay president? The great Joan Rivers, during the Obama presidency, gave the perfect response on the sidewalks of New York.
We already have it with Obama, so let's just calm down.
Got it.
You know Michelle is a trans...
I'm sorry, she's a what?
A transgender.
She's a transgender. And then a couple of weeks later, Joan Rivers mysteriously died in a New York City clinic where she had checked in for a minor procedure, but pay no attention to that. Amazing stuff. And then Michelle also known as Big Mike. Most people, I think, at this point know her as Big Mike. Big Mike, the tow truck with those Larry Holmes arms. Remember, the news media, they wrote 1,000 articles about how great her arms are. She's got arms like a tow truck. And they wrote articles about her arms being wonderful. But she naturally doing a podcast, sitting there with her brother doing her brother podcast.
You are being a role model for dealing with a child that's transgender. And that's, that warms my heart, particularly as a black man.
Sure, particularly as a black man. How does that, wait, you're a black, did you just come out of the closet as a black man? And, it always begins with race and then goes to gender, just like at the DNC, where a Native American woman may unseat David Hogg. But the first words in the headline are Native American woman. Speaking of Native American woman, Kamala Harris is not a Native American woman. She is half Indian from India and African American on the other half. And, that's not, but she is not the brightest knife in the constellation, that's for sure. Kamala Harris yesterday in San Francisco, where she gave a speech, and I'm not kidding, you could have paid $50,000 to get the top shelf treatment. I guess you get martinis and a handshake and a picture, but you pay $250 for the regular. It's like, is Carlos Santana playing here tonight? Am I in the front row? No, you're coming to watch a Kamala speech, and you're just cannon fodder in the theater. But Kamala in San Francisco last night, giving her big breakout speech after losing the presidential election.
Hi, everyone. Hi.
She's cackling.
Oh, it's good to be home.
Cackling.
And Dougie's here, too.
Dougie's here. Dougie Emhoff, that's her alleged husband, as far as we know. And he is famous. Well, first, he's famous for his Secret Service code name, which is Slugger, his Secret Service code name, because he was the second gentleman of the United States. And he's famous for smacking a woman really hard across the face with a big arm swing and an open hand at the Cannes Film Festival. And the Cannes Film Festival, and he brought her there as his date, and they were in line at the what do you call it, the valet line, and she apparently looked at a man, and he slapped her so hard that she went spinning around on her heel. She was wearing heels, fortunately, because otherwise wouldn't have been able to spin like that. But remarkable stuff. And so Dougie is here. Kamala Harris brings up elephant video during San Francisco speech against Trump's first 100 days in office. Hey, maybe you guys should have prevented war in Europe. Maybe you guys should have prevented war in the Middle East. Maybe you guys should have prevented the murders of Laken Riley and Rachel Morin and so many more by illegal alien gang members that you guys waved into the country. Aren't you amazing? But the terrible 100 days. Now, here's the, everybody's making fun of her. The New York Post is making fun of her today. Kamala Harris bizarrely references viral elephant video in speech attacking Trump's vision for America after first 100 days. And she's telling people to Google video of elephants protecting each other. Then I assume she then started raising money for Planned Parenthood because she's talking about the most helpless and defenseless among us. Kamala Harris, remarkable stuff. She didn't avoid the elephant in the room, the New York Post writes. Former vice president, and thankfully not president, Kamala Harris emerged from a political hibernation to deliver a stern rebuke of President Trump, soon descending into one of her trademark word salads, this time bizarrely focusing on a viral video of elephants during an earthquake, as though this has something to do with anything. And here is Kamala Harris in San Francisco, and she's cackling and promoting Slugger Emhoff over here. The Democrats love men that beat women, whether they're gang members or jihadis or hostage takers. They love them all. But here's Kamala in San Francisco talking about, and it's true, this video, it was on the news. You might have seen it on the internet. An earthquake in California where we like to have them. And these elephants in the San Diego Zoo during an earthquake, they huddled around one another because there was an earthquake, and they're not, people, so they don't know what was happening. And Kamala didn't either. Here's Kamala in San Francisco yesterday telling a weird story.
It's kind of dark in here, but I'm asking a show of hands. Who saw that video from a couple of weeks ago? The one of the elephants at the San Diego Zoo during the earthquake?
They clapped.
Google it if you've not seen it.
Most of them have not seen it. They don't.
So that scene has been on my mind.
It has?
Everybody's asking me, what you been thinking about these days? Well, the one
Why are you
of
cackling?
The elephants at the San
Why are you cackling like a loon? I can't believe you're just cackling and talking about elephants in a viral video and all of this absurdity because Kamala she was moved, I tell you, by a couple of elephants that gathered around, and she said that they're protecting the weakest among because they surrounded a little elephant, a little baby elephant, and she's like, you got to protect the weak, and then they started raising money for Planned Parenthood.
So in the video, for those who haven't seen it, here those elephants were. And as soon as they felt the earth shaking beneath their feet, they got in a circle and stood next to each other to protect the most vulnerable.
Oh.
Think about it.
Think about it.
What a powerful metaphor.
Think about Laken Riley. Think about the gang members you waved into the country that are victimizing people all over the country. Think about 1 million plus abortions the year after Roe v. Wade was overturned in the United States of America. You are not allowed to talk about the most vulnerable among us. You are the central threat to the most vulnerable among us. And for you to say idiotic things like that while cackling like an idiot. Oh, I saw a video on the internet of elephants, and boy, it was wonderful. And then there was a very important message from the elephants to Kamala Harris.
Those who try to incite fear
firebombing Jews
are most effective when they divide and conquer.
Shooting up Tesla dealerships.
When they separate the herd. When they try to make everyone think they are alone. But in the face of crisis, the lesson is don't scatter. The instinct has to be to immediately find and connect with each other.
Yeah, because that's what you're all about.
And to know that the circle will be strong.
Circle Fest in a hot tub. Isn't that great? This is Kamala Harris. And what was she talking about there? The Democrats bringing us all together.
These Republicans cannot know a moment of peace.
Yes, bringing us together. That's the Democrat. Firebombing governors' houses because they're Jewish and they're too pro-Israel. Firebombing Tesla dealerships and attacking Tesla automobiles everywhere you go. Shooting up the storefronts of Tesla dealerships with rifles. Firebombing it's a norm for the Democrats now.
Bullies respond to one thing, a punch in the face.
Yeah, they're bringing us to Democrats. They're bringing us together. Sure, that's your Democrat party. There's a bit more Kamala. I won't bore you with too much Kamala because she's obviously tedious, but there's a bit more of her mental derangement coming up. You know that this country was built on hard work and on grit. Whether you stand for long hours every day, running errands, chasing after the kids, or just doing your part to keep the planet turning on its axis every day, you shouldn't have to deal with fatigue and foot pain and ankle discomfort. And that is where G-Defy shoes come in. G-Defy shoes, built with patented VersaShock technology. The Federal Trade Commission has authorized G-Defy to tell you and all of us that these shoes help to relieve minor occasional pain associated with walking, running, and standing for prolonged periods of time. G-Defy shoes help to absorb harmful shock. They align your body and improve your biomechanics. They return energy with every step that you take. My best girl and I, we've got 2 pairs of G-Defy shoes each. And I tell you, you take a walk around the city like we do, and your arches feel better after you're done hiking than they did before you started. Right now, you can get 50% off your order of $120 or more by texting Chris to 91888. Or you can head to Al Gore's Amazing Internet, go to gdefy.com and use the code Chris. That's the code Chris, C-H-R-I-S. With G-Defy's 60-day risk-free trial, you've got nothing to lose and everything to gain. Message and data rates apply. Yes, sir. Yeah, Kamala. She's on the media. They're applauding it like it's wonderful. It couldn't be nicer. The Democrats. We have a great deal of Democrat mayhem and madness coming up for you today, and RFK Jr. and vaccines coming up. Chris here with a list of things that none of us should trust. The Washington Post, the New York Times, anything on CNN. Here's a list of things that I do trust. The Washington Times. Support real journalism for just $1 a week at washingtontimes.com/Chris. President Trump participated in kind of a town hall last night, and not a lot happened because Fredo Cuomo was in charge of it. And they had the raging lunatic, James Carville. We may get to some of that, but we've got a lot of news to get to. RFK Jr., vaccines, Alec Baldwin, and his big movie. That's news. I got that for you. Right now, let's go to the telephones. Let's go to Sloan, calling from the great state of Indiana. Sloan, you're on the Chris Plante Show.
Hi, Chris. Thanks for taking my call. I just heard about the powerful metaphor that Kamala Harris gave last night in her speech, and I once again thought how ironic, because she's talking about the elephants gathering together in a circle to protect the most vulnerable. Well, the Republican symbol is the elephant. So thank you again, Kamala Harris.
Right, exactly. And who do the Democrats protect? They protect MS-13. They protect Tren de Aragua. They leave our borders open. They're protecting Hamas and supporters of Hamas, a genocidal, anti-Semitic organization. The Democrat Party protects no one. And the most vulnerable among us, she's talking about the most vulnerable among us. The reason they're vulnerable is because of the Democrats.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for your show. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, Sloan. Thanks for calling in from Indiana. America. I love America. I miss America. I live in Washington, D.C. It's not even one of our 50 states. Yeah, but you're right. The irony of Kamala Harris saying, elephants protect their own. Donkeys just haul up and kick people across the room. You see the little dust-up in the Supreme Court yesterday where Sonia Sotomayor, the Jake LaMotta of the American Supreme Court, she brushed back and chastised Ketanji Brown Jackson, who doesn't know what a woman is, when there was a back and forth. I want to share that with you coming up. I've got Alec Baldwin. He used to be an actor. Then he shot and killed that woman. But it worked out fine for him because, Hollywood, it's good. But I've got an update on Alec Baldwin and his career. Remarkable stuff. Lots going on. And an update on one of the Democrat Party's crazed, firebombing Democrat lunatics. Because when you're a Democrat, you firebomb things. It's okay. You walk free. And honestly, where is Governor Josh Shapiro and where's the news media when it comes to the Democrat firebombing 2 Molotov cocktails, the governor's mansion, because he's too Jewish? You'd think that might be a news story. But it went the way of the Steve Scalise shooting on a baseball field, a suicide attack, an attempted mass political assassination. And that was a one-day story, too. Remarkable stuff. But what do you have? You have Hank Johnson. We got Hank Johnson because he's one of our favorites. Congressman Hank Johnson from Georgia. He's a Democrat. He has a squirrel brain, not a good brain, not a big brain, not a functional brain. The New York Post has the story, and the Washington Post does not because it's not a newspaper. In fact, their slogan is, "It looks like a newspaper, but it's not." Here's the headline in the New York Post. Democratic Representative Hank Johnson, who's afraid that islands will flip over if we put troops on them, suggests Trump is targeting Latinos outside of Home Depot in bizarre ripoff of a Holocaust-era poem. And there is this old poem which was written by a reverend and say, first they came for the Jews and I did not speak because I was not a Jew. And it's fairly well known if you're educated in Western civilization, which most Democrats are not. But Hank Johnson, he's not perhaps the dumbest member of Congress because the competition for that is that's stiff competition there. But a Democrat House lawmaker known for his jaw-dropping remarks repurposed a Holocaust-era poem on Wednesday to argue that the Trump administration is targeting Latinos outside of Home Depots. Representative Hank Johnson, a Democrat from Georgia, who once worried Guam could sink from overpopulation, actually it was flip over, not sink, subjected lawmakers to his bizarre variation of the German theologian Martin Niemöller's famous First They Came For poem during a House Judiciary Committee hearing, leaving some people stunned. Here is Democrat Congressman Hank Johnson.
First, they came for the Latinos outside of the Home Depots trying to get work so that they could feed their families. And I didn't say anything about it.
He didn't say anything about it.
Because I'm not a Latino at the Home Depot.
But you should be. You should be waiting out in the parking lot in a Home Depot for somebody to ask you to hop in the back of the pickup truck to do some labor in their backyard because your brain is not up to the task of being a member of the Congress of the United States of America. Hank Johnson.
Then they came for the Hispanic-looking folks.
Hispanic-looking
wearing hats folks. Backward with tattoos. And they deported them to El Salvador. And I didn't say anything about that.
You didn't say anything about that.
I don't wear my hair backward.
Your hair?
I don't have any tattoos, and I don't look like a Latino.
You should get some tattoos. That's because I don't wear my hair backward. He said I don't wear my hair backward. He transcommunicated the hat backward to and of course he's a lying moron. Nobody's being arrested for wearing their hat backward. Nobody's being arrested just for hanging out in a Home Depot parking lot. But one of these illegal aliens was hanging out with a bunch of MS-13 gang members in a Home Depot parking lot, and the Prince George's County, Maryland gang unit recognized that these guys are bad guys, and the Chicago Bulls gear is a trademark feature of the gang MS-13, and the Democrats are big defenders of MS-13 and any gang member from any beephole country that came illegally into the United States. They're all about that. And, it's like, and again, this is creating an analogy to the Holocaust of the Socialist Workers' Party of Adolf Hitler.
Then they came back for the students studying on the college campuses.
The jihadis?
They sent jackbooted thugs wearing masks to pick them up. And I didn't say anything about it because I'm not a student on a foreign visa.
Yeah. Advocating the genocide of the Jewish people and the destruction of Western civilization and fanning up violence on college campuses while you're here on a student visa. The Democrats will defend any criminal they find anywhere. By the way, there is an update on one of their favorite people, Abrego Garcia. They love Abrego Garcia. He's one of their favorite people. He's the MS-13 gang member with the MS-13 gang member tattoos on his knuckles. And the turns out the baby mama now, I guess, still wife, right? Because she takes a licking and keeps on ticking. She takes a beating and keeps on streaking. Pretty amazing stuff. But I shared with you the restraining order that was put in place for Abrego Garcia. And the Democrats, they're like, yeah, that's fine. You know, we got the wife beating, illegal alien gang member, beating up the pregnant baby mama that he's not married to. Then they get married while he's in prison. They had bulletproof glass between them. And it's just amazing. And a protective order was put into place. Well, we've just learned that there is a second protective order, and the Democrats are okay with this, too, because they are on the side of wife beaters and gang members. And now the second protective order discovered in the Kilmore Abrego Garcia deportation case, and the Democrats are all about defending him. New details have surfaced in the case of Kilmore Abrego Garcia, who spent a little time hanging out in the parking lot of a Home Depot with some MS-13 gang members, and the gang unit in Prince George's County, Maryland, which borders Washington, D.C., they encountered Kilmore Abrego Garcia with his MS-13 tattoos, his MS-13 buddies, his Chicago Bulls baseball cap, which may or may not have been on backward, but the gang uses the gang MS-13 uses Chicago Bulls gear, hats and jerseys and stuff to represent their membership in MS-13. Police officers with gang units are aware of this. Hank Johnson is not, because of his tiny little brain. But new details have surfaced in the case of Kilmore Abrego Garcia, a Maryland man, right, he's a Maryland man, mistakenly deported to El Salvador. This is what the news media is still reporting. He wasn't mistakenly deported, and he's not a Maryland man. He's an El Salvador man. And he was living illegally in Maryland for a period of time where he was beating his baby mama to a bloody pulp and then marrying her in prison, then beating her again. As efforts to secure his return continue. This is actually the Fox channel in Washington, D.C., Fox 5 in Washington, D.C. They sound like his legal team. So the Maryland man, as efforts on the part of Democrats, not just Senator Chris Van Hollen and a carload of other Democrat members of the House of Representatives, a federal judge has authorized depositions of Trump administration officials while weighing potential contempt charges, and that judge is a Democrat appointee and a bomb-throwing radical, doubtless an anti-Semite too. They all are at this point. Weighing potential contempt charges for the Trump administration for not facilitating his return to the United States, since he's a career criminal, illegal alien, wife-beating gang member. The Democrat Party wants him back here loose on the streets of America because they want Americans killed and beaten and robbed and everything else. That's your Democrat Party. Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen emphasized that the case is about upholding the rule of law and due process. He was given due process repeatedly in immigration court and in wife-beating court. And then you got this Democrat Judge Dugan in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, who was breaking out a domestic abuser, illegal alien, through the back door of the courthouse before he faced the music, while the two victims of his crime, a man and a woman, were sitting in the courtroom waiting for justice. And Judge Dugan, a Democrat, actually was participant. She led the breakout. It was like a Hollywood movie of a crooked judge, and the Democrats are applauding her. They're going to run her for Congress. The Supreme Court of Wisconsin has suspended her indefinitely from the bench, and that's okay. Now, let me get to the latest update here, because Fox 5 in Washington is obviously not covering the news. They're propagandizing their fake version of the news. But let me go to the latest, because we got the new restraining order. A second protective order has emerged against Abrego Garcia. And in the second protective order, the language reads, from the baby mama who was beaten repeatedly by him while pregnant, and then after getting married in prison, beating her again. And then there was the restraining order. And then a period of time passed, and she went back to him, battered wife syndrome. And then a second restraining order. And in the second restraining order, the protective order, she wrote, she it was probably transcribed. She said, "I am afraid to be close to him. I have multiple photos and videos of how violent he can be and all the bruises he has left me. He told my ex-mother-in-law that even if he kills me, no one can do anything to him." Now, that's from the second restraining order. And the Democrats and Fox 5 in Washington are fighting for him to be returned to Maryland, apparently, where he can be set loose on the street. Maryland, where an illegal alien gang member murdered Rachel Morin while she was a mother of 5, while she was out for her exercise on a hiking trail. And another illegal alien there raped and murdered her. And that is the savagery that the Democrat Party protects and endorses. The fight to return Abrego Garcia to the U.S. remains ongoing. That is the literal final line on the Fox 5 story, glorifying and glamorizing Abrego Garcia, who is a vicious woman-beating, wife-beating, baby mama-beating gang member with MS-13 tattoos on his knuckles that the Democrats, and that includes Terry Moran at ABC News, are still pretending are not MS-13 tattoos. The Democratic Party is on the wrong side of everything. Aren't they amazing? Hank Johnson, though, he's got, I was not a Jew, so I did not speak. Isn't that amazing? President Trump, in the meantime, I've got stories for you to update you on Ukraine and peace and a rare earth minerals deal. I love that band, Rare Earth. But right now, let's go to the phones. Let's go to Sean, calling from Columbia, Maryland. Sean, you're on the Chris Plante Show.
Hey, Chris, thanks for taking my call. Hey, I never heard Hank Johnson ever say anything when we had multiple women raped and beaten and killed, murdered. I never heard Hank Johnson say anything when we had the fentanyl that just comes across with MS-13 and other gangs bringing it across. I haven't heard Hank Johnson say anything about these things. He stayed quiet. So as far as I'm concerned, Hank, who cares? Who cares what you think?
Yeah.
I can't imagine him. Can you imagine, Chris, what job this guy would have outside of Congress?
Cashier?
I just, yeah, he would. He couldn't get a job at Home Depot, so of course you wouldn't be there. But I just puzzles me how they want to come out and say they didn't say anything as illegals that are in this country are being sent out. And what legal process took place for them to come in that would you need a legal process to send them out? They never did anything legally to come in. So why do we owe them legally to leave? If you don't have proper documentation and you're not supposed to be here, I'm sorry, you have got to go.
Especially if you're a documented wife-beating, baby mama, girlfriend abusing, marry her in prison, then start beating her again, gang member with MS-13 tattoos on your knuckles that Terry Moran and ABC News and the rest keep lying about. My friend Jeff corrected me. They've been saying for years, silence is violence. Well, they're silent when it comes to the anti-Semitic attacks on college campuses and beyond. They're silent when it comes to the wife-beating, raping, murdering gang members in the country illegally. Their silence literally is violence. Well, not quite literally, but it's just silence. But they're silent about the violence, and that's the Democrat Party, because they're not liberals at all, and they're not American at all. They're the left. They're the international left. The most dangerous group of people on the planet are the international left. And your indignation is correctly placed, Sean. Thank you for the call, buddy, and thanks for actually paying attention and caring and being right about things, being correct. It's not very hard. Common sense, which isn't. As Mother's Day approaches, I want to highlight an organization that cares very deeply about mothers, and that is Preborn. Preborn's network of clinics they've got across the country. The clinics offer love, they offer life, and support for pregnant mothers who are feeling pressure to make the ultimate choice. When a distressed mother comes to Preborn, she's immediately offered a free ultrasound to hear and to see the precious life growing inside of her, hoping that she will choose life. And it happens very, very often. This Mother's Day, you can help bring life to both a mother in need and an at-risk baby. One ultrasound is only $28. 5 ultrasounds are $140. Every penny goes toward loving mothers and babies and keeping human beings alive, like those elephants surrounding the most vulnerable that Kamala was talking about. And when you become a monthly sponsor, you're going to receive pictures and stories of the lives that you help to save. To get involved, all you have to do is dial pound 250, and when prompted, you say the keyword baby. That's pound 250, the keyword is baby, or you can go online to Al Gore's Amazing Internet and visit preborn.com/plant. That's me. That's preborn.com/plant. Yes, sir. Yeah, I got a lot to get to because David Hogg is in trouble. I'm very concerned. An update on a firebombing Democrat that really hates Elon Musk. What kind of a shake is he getting?
I don't wear my hair backward because I'm not a Latino at the Home Depot.
I killed Jews while I was in Palestine, and I love to kill Jews. That's Madawi. The Democrats love him and support him. They got him released from jail. They want him to come back. And, of course, they want Kilmar Abrego Garcia to come back. They're fighting to get him back. So is Fox Channel 5 in Washington. The fight to return Abrego Garcia to the U.S. remains ongoing. Anybody remember the woman that he beat and then married and then beat again? Her name is Jennifer Vasquez. She appeared on Good Morning America a while back where they kind of asked her about it, but then they kind of didn't when she gave what I would consider to be a fairly peculiar answer. Why do the Democrats love violent criminals?